They say marriage is the ultimate dream, the fairy tale ending. But for many men today, marriage feels more like a gamble, one where you could lose your freedom, your peace, and sometimes even your identity. That's why you hear so many voices shouting, men should never marry. But here's the truth. Marriage itself isn't the enemy. The real danger is walking into it blind. So before you say I do, let me share what most men never hear until it's too late. You know, my boy, I hear this a lot these days. Why men should never marry. It's all over the internet. Videos, podcasts, angry men shouting that marriage is a trap, that it destroys men, that women take everything and leave them with nothing. I won't lie to you, there's truth in those fears. I've seen marriages that felt like cages. I've seen men broken, financially, emotionally, even spiritually, because they married the wrong person or because they went in blind, thinking love alone would save them. But listen carefully. The problem is not marriage itself. The problem is ignorance. The problem is walking into a lifelong commitment without knowing yourself, without knowing what you truly need, and without understanding the nature of love, responsibility, and human weakness. So, before you ever think of marriage, you must first understand why so many men fear it, and what lies beneath that fear. First, let's name the shadows. Why do so many men today shout, never marry? 1. Loss of freedom. Many men see marriage as the end of freedom. No more spontaneity, no more boys' nights out, no more living by your own rules. Marriage, to them, feels like chains. 2. Financial risk. Divorce courts, alimony, child support, these haunt men like ghosts. A man may work for 20 years only to feel like half of it can vanish with a judge's stroke of a pen. 3. Fear of betrayal. Betrayal cuts deepest when it comes from the one you trusted most. Men whisper, what if she cheats? What if she leaves me when I'm weak? 4. Changing social narratives. Society itself has shifted. In many cultures, marriage no longer holds the same sacredness. Some men feel the risks outweigh the rewards. Now, philosophers saw this centuries ago. Schopenhauer, for example, once wrote that marriage was a trap set by nature to secure the survival of the species. He warned men that they marry not for happiness, but for survival of life itself. He was a pessimist, yes, but he wasn't entirely wrong. And yet, others like Seneca reminded us that it's not marriage itself that's dangerous. It's entering it without wisdom. It is not the thing itself that troubles man, but his opinion about it, he said. Marriage is like fire. It can warm you, or it can burn you to ashes. I remember a man I once knew, worked hard, built a house with his own hands, brick by brick. He married young, full of hope. But as the years passed, he and his wife grew apart. She wanted one life, he wanted another. They stopped talking, stopped laughing. Eventually, she left, and he lost not just his marriage, but half of what he had built. For years, he walked around saying, I should never have married. Marriage ruins men. But here's the thing. It wasn't marriage that ruined him. It was marrying without knowing who he was, what he needed, and without building the strength to keep the fire alive. Another story. One of the happiest men I ever met was a school teacher. He and his wife lived simply, no wealth, no grand house, but they laughed together, supported each other. He once told me, "My marriage is not perfect, but it is my refuge, my anchor in a stormy sea." See, my boy, the truth is not in the extremes. Marriage is neither always a blessing nor always a curse. It depends on awareness, choice, and courage. When men shout, "Never marry," often they're covering up something deeper. What men truly crave is not freedom without love. It's freedom within love. They crave a partner who respects their space. They crave loyalty, the kind that doesn't waver in storms. They crave companionship, someone who sees them, truly sees them, not just for their money, their strength, or their usefulness. They crave peace, home as a sanctuary, not a battlefield. Philosopher Nietzsche once said, "It is not a lack of love, but a lack of friendship that makes unhappy marriages." And he was right. Men don't just want passion. They want friendship, respect, and a woman who walks beside them, not against them. So why do marriages fail? Why do so many men warn each other away? Because too many enter it without preparation. They chase beauty, lust, or the fear of being alone and forget to ask the real questions. Do we share values? Can we communicate openly even when it hurts? Do we fight fair, or do we destroy each other in anger? Can I be myself with her without masks? Most men never ask these questions. They marry in haste, regret in leisure. That's why so many videos scream, "Don't marry," because the pain of ignorance has been louder than the joy of wisdom. Now, my boy, listen to me carefully. I am not here to tell you never marry, nor am I here to tell you always marry. I am here to tell you this: never marry without knowing yourself, without setting your boundaries, without the courage to walk away if it's wrong. Marriage doesn't destroy men. Ignorance does. Lack of self-respect does. Choosing the wrong person out of fear or loneliness does. When you know yourself, when you stand strong, when you choose with wisdom, not desperation, then marriage is not chains. It is partnership. It is strength. But if you go in blind, my boy, if you think love alone will carry you, then yes, marriage can break you. And maybe that's why so many men today are shouting warnings from their broken hearts. Now, my boy, let me tell you something. The world out there is loud with warnings. Don't marry, protect yourself, women will ruin you. But what no one tells you is this: the best protection is not avoiding love altogether, but walking into it with armor, armor made not of steel, but of self-knowledge, boundaries, and wisdom. Think of a soldier. He doesn't refuse to enter battle because it's dangerous. He enters prepared. Marriage, like battle, demands armor. Without it, you're just a man running naked into the fire. So what does this armor look like? 1. Know yourself before you know her. If you don't know who you are, you'll fall for anyone who tells you what you want to hear. Take time, years, if you must, to understand your own values, your goals, your weaknesses. As the philosopher Socrates said, "Know thyself. That is the beginning of all wisdom." 2. Set boundaries early. Boundaries are not walls, they are gates. They don't keep love out, they keep destruction out. A man without boundaries is like a house without doors. Anything can walk in, and everything valuable will eventually walk out. 3. Financial independence. Don't ever marry if you're not standing strong on your own 2 feet. Dependency breeds resentment, and financial ruin is one of the sharpest knives that cuts marriages apart. 4. Emotional strength. Love is not for the weak-hearted. If you crumble at every fight or rage at every disagreement, marriage will feel like war. Learn to master yourself first. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Section 6. Choosing wisely. Now listen carefully, boy. Choosing a partner is the most important decision of your life. Bigger than career, bigger than wealth, bigger than where you live. Why? Because the wrong partner can drain 20 years of your life, and the right one can add life to your years. So how do you choose? 1. Look beyond beauty. Beauty fades, charm can deceive, but character is the foundation. Don't ask yourself, is she beautiful? Ask yourself, can I build a life with her when beauty is gone? 2. Shared values greater than shared interests. You don't need the same hobbies. You need the same compass. A man who wants peace cannot live with a woman who thrives on chaos. A woman who values truth cannot stay with a man who lies. Values bind deeper than pleasures. 3. Watch how she treats others. Look not at how she treats you when she's in love. Look at how she treats strangers, waiters, children, her own family. That will show you who she really is. 4. Don't ignore the red flags. Men ruin themselves when they confuse red flags for fireworks. If she disrespects you, manipulates you, or tests your patience constantly before marriage, believe me, it will not get better after marriage. Section 7. The myths men must break. Ah, my boy, let me tell you the lies I've seen men swallow like sweet poison. Love is enough. No, love is not enough. You need respect, friendship, patience, and forgiveness. Love without these is like a roof without walls. It collapses. She will change after marriage. Marriage does not change people. It amplifies who they already are. I can fix her. You are not a savior. You are a partner. Don't marry potential, marry reality. Marriage will make me happy. Happiness is an inside job. Marriage can add to it, but it cannot create it. I once knew a man who refused to marry until he was 40. Everyone mocked him, saying he was wasting time. But he waited, not out of fear, but out of patience. And when he finally married, he chose a woman who matched his soul. His friends who married young were divorced by then, while he was just beginning his life with peace. On the other hand, I saw a man marry at 25, rushing because he feared loneliness. He ignored her anger, her disrespect, her lack of kindness, thinking it would improve after marriage. 10 years later, he told me, "Grandpa, my loneliness inside this marriage is greater than when I was single." That's the tragedy. Loneliness with the wrong person is heavier than loneliness alone. Section 9. What marriage really is. So let me strip away the illusions. Marriage is not a fairy tale, nor is it a prison. It is a partnership of growth. It will challenge you. It will expose your weaknesses. It will demand sacrifice. But if you enter it with wisdom, it will also teach you patience, anchor you in storms, give you companionship in the long winters of life. Philosopher Kierkegaard once said, "Marry, and you will regret it. Don't marry, and you will also regret it." He was being humorous, but what he meant is, marriage is not about avoiding regret. It's about choosing the kind of regret you can live with. Do not marry because you are afraid of being alone. Do not marry because society expects it. Do not marry because you are pressured by family or friends. Marry only if, after all your fears, your doubts, your scars, you meet someone whose presence feels like peace. Someone who sharpens you, not destroys you. Someone you can fight with, but also laugh with 5 minutes later. If you cannot find that, then it is better to walk alone. A man at peace with himself is richer than a man chained to the wrong partner. But if you do find that person, do not let fear stop you. Protect yourself, yes. Keep your armor on, yes. But remember, love is not meant to destroy. It is meant to refine. So the truth is not, never marry. The truth is, never marry blindly. Marriage is not the enemy. Ignorance is. So, my boy, the choice is yours. To marry or not to marry is not the real question. The real question is, will you walk into love as a fool or as a wise man?